In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I went from this to this in under a year. So basically what I did is I cut my training and nutrition up into two different things. I had a period where I bulked and a period where I cut. So what do I mean by this? Bulking is basically where you get your maintenance calories, which is the amount of calories you need to maintain your weight, and you eat above your maintenance calories, so you eat more calories than is required, and this way you're going to gain muscle. Cutting is the opposite, so you're eating below your maintenance calories in an attempt to cut your fat. So you're losing fat, you're cutting calories, cutting. So the first thing you want to do before you start training is you're going to want to go online and find a calorie calculator. I'll put the link to a good calorie calculator that I used down here. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to get your weight, your height, and the typical amount of exercise that you'll do during a week. For me, my maintenance calories are about 2,800 a day. Then after you've done that, you're going to want to scroll down and there should be a little bit where you up your calories for bulking. So you want to put gaining weight. I upped my calories by around 15 to 20%, so I was eating around 3,500 a day. It's probably a bit more than 20%, but it's better to, I always figure it's better to eat more than to eat less when you're bulking. People say to me, I can't gain weight, but I eat so many calories. No, you don't eat enough calories then, unless there's something like horribly wrong with your digestive system and you should probably go to the doctors. You're not eating enough calories above your maintenance to gain weight. As Rich Piana says, eat more. That's the most essential thing. That's where people go wrong straight away. They don't eat enough. If you train and you don't eat enough, it's actually going to be detrimental to muscle building. You're going to lose muscle. You want to eat well above your maintenance, and don't forget to account exercise into that. What you want to do is you're going to want to log all your calories. A brilliant app for this is MyFitnessPal. You can get it on your phone or online. I'll put another link for that in the description. So you're going to want to get all your details from the calorie calculator that I just told you a minute ago, and you're going to want to put your amount of calories into MyFitnessPal in the settings. So MyFitnessPal has its own calorie calculator, but it's pretty shit. As well as this, you want to sort out your macros. So you want the correct amount of macronutrients. So what I mean by macronutrients is like your proteins, your carbs, your fats. It's kind of what food's comprised of. Typically when I'm bulking, I have my macros set up to around 50% carbohydrates, 30% protein, and 20% fat. You want to log your macros in MyFitnessPal as well, so you want to make sure that you're getting enough protein, enough carbs, and enough fat. After you've sorted all your diet and nutritional stuff out and know what you've got to do, know how much you've got to eat, know how much carbs, protein, fats you need, then you can get onto the rest of the stuff. Another thing you want to do as well, instead of forget eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, you want around 6 meals a day, I say. So 6 small meals, that equates to your total amount of calories that you need. This way, if you have just eating 3 meals a day, then you're going through a long period of time where you haven't got any food in your stomach, so therefore you might drop down to anabolism again and start burning off muscle and fat because you don't have enough calories. You don't want to be in like a calorie defect, you always want to be in that surplus. So 6 meals a day will ensure that you have like a constant stream of calories to your muscle, constant stream of protein to your muscle, constant stream of macros throughout your body. In terms of working out then, when you're bulking, so you want short intense workouts where you lift low reps and a heavy weight, but you want to get into that 3 to 10 rep range typically. Like I'd say when training a muscle group, you want to mix it up. 8 to 10 rep ranges are the best ranges for building muscle. Then anything below that's kind of focusing on building strength. But in order to improve and build muscle and gain on that, you also need to improve in strength. So as I said, low reps, heavy weight whilst bulking, so that 3 to 8 reps. I just want to say that I'll cover a lot more of these things in more depth, but this is kind of my introduction video to my transformation series that I'm going to do. A lot of your foods want to be high calorie density. So by that I mean it's a food that takes up a small amount of space in your stomach, that's my chest, a small amount of space in your stomach, but is very high in calories. So foods such as these are typically things like you get nuts, red meats, oats, things along those lines. So high calorie dense foods, you'll see, read the labels, you'll soon get a feel for it. On top of this as well, you want to have a diet fairly high in protein. You want to make sure that you get the right amount of protein, because obviously protein is essential for building muscle. So you're going to want to be eating a lot of eggs, a lot of fish, a lot of chicken, protein shakes as well. Like I had so many protein shakes during that transformation video. Protein shakes I'd say are essential. Some people say they can't afford protein shakes, but one protein shake might equate to a chicken breast, so it works out cheaper in the long run. I normally have a meal before I work out, then have a protein shake afterwards, so you've got a source of protein straight after you work out. As well as tracking calories and making sure you're eating enough calories during this bulking phase, you're also going to want to make sure that you've got the right amounts of macros. So a lot of people that I know say, oh yeah, I'm bulking, and they just end up eating shit. Loads of simple carbs, loads of sugary foods, and at the end of the day, they get too little protein in their diet and just get fat. So they might say they're bulking, and then by the end of it, they just get fat as fuck. So they haven't put on any muscle, and they just basically wasted their time, wasted their money on food, wasted their time in the gym, and just got fat as fuck. I probably bulked for around 8 months during my transformation, and then cut for about 2 months, 3 months, and then spent the rest of the time probably lying in bed feeling sorry for myself because I was really ill and eating loads of shit food. But yeah, so when do I stop bulking, you may ask as well. Well, that depends. It's a personal thing, and obviously I don't know how you look, so you're going to have to judge it yourself. I stopped bulking towards the end of winter / after New Year's. I felt my body fat was getting too high and I wanted to be lean for summer. A lot of people as well, they stop bulking when they feel that they've gained enough mass. I suggest if you want to bulk like this, so you're bulking, you look in the mirror one day and you're like, oh, I'm big enough, this is how big I want to be. From that point, bulk for another month and then cut. By bulking for another month, you're going to put on a bit more muscle, but as well as this, at that current point in time, you've also got a lot of fat over those muscles, so when you cut, you're going to lose the fat and then you're going to look smaller. So by doing an extra month, going a bit bigger than you want to, you're going to keep more. It's a lot easier to lose muscle than to build muscle, so you might as well go a little bit more. So stage 2 of my transformation was my cut. The bulking's all about gaining weight and gaining muscle, so during this time you're going to gain fat. It's inevitable, you've got to accept you're going to get a bit fat. It's, unless you're incredibly genetically gifted or you've never trained before and in like the first few weeks of training, it's very hard to gain muscle and lose fat naturally. Like, it's almost not possible unless you're incredibly genetically gifted, as I said. So during your bulking phase, you're going to put on muscle, but you're also going to put on a bit of fat. During your cutting phase, you're going to lose fat and try and minimize the amount of muscle you lose. What you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go back to your calorie calculator that I told you at the start of the video. You're going to want to work out your maintenance calories and then drop that by around 15%. So after your bulk's up, what you want to do ideally is you want to ease yourself into it gently. Start off by dropping the calories very slightly and leaving all your macronutrients alone, so staying on like 50% carbs but just dropping those calories down a bit. After a week or so of that, then you can begin to change your macros. So when you cut, your macronutrients change as well as your calories. My diet is currently comprised as well in terms of macros of about 50% protein you want during this cutting phase, 30% fats and 20% carbs. So you're on a basically an effectively low carb diet, but you want to start this low carb diet after you've been on low calories for a while. So after you've dropped your calories, give it a week or so to let your body ease into that low calorie swing of things, and then drop your carbs down and up your protein and lower your fat. So you're on a high protein, medium fat, low carb diet. That's what I like to do. So this cutting phase is literally finding the fine line between too little calories and too much calories. You want enough calories to shed that fat, but you don't want too little calories where you're gonna lose muscle as well as fat. So the sweet spot's probably around 1.5 pounds a week of loss. I suggest buying a set of scales to weigh yourself, and then you can kind of track your weight as you go to make sure you're not losing too much weight, but you are losing weight. So after you sorted out your macronutrients and your carbs and your calories, I went on a carb cycle. So basically I'd stick to that diet that I just told you. I'd stick to low carbs and low calories throughout the week. Then every other 4 days during the week, I'd have a high carb day. You're increasing the amount of carbs and increasing the amount of calories on every other 4 days. After 4 days, your body becomes depleted. You're low on leptin levels, like it's kind of a feel-good sort of hormone. Your metabolism drops and you just end up feeling like shit. So by cycling these carbs, you're minimizing that. You want to be drinking a fuckload of water. You want to be drinking loads of water. There's online calculators as well to how much water you should drink. I'll shove another one of those in the description, should be the third thing down. So the more water you drink, the higher metabolism is, the more fat you're going to burn. In terms of nutrition, as I said, you want to have low carbs, but even on those high carb days, you want to be eating good carbs. What do I mean by carbs? Basically, all carbs are sugars, so any sugar is a carb. An apple has loads of carbs in, banana has loads of carbs in, rice has loads of carbs in, but you want to be eating good carbs. Like, you hear people say good carbs and bad carbs. You've got your complex carbs, and those are things like whole grains, stuff like brown rice, brown pasta, brown bread. Basically brown shit. If it's brown, it's a complex carb. These carbohydrates have fibre associated with them as well, so they aid your digestion. Greens are a really good source of carbs, like broccoli, peas. You want to be substituting a lot of those for things like rice during this cutting time, or you'll find it hard to get your correct macros. Typically I'll make the only carbs in my diet during this cutting phase complex carbs, other than some simple carbs that I might have before a pre-workout. On top of this, you're going to want to incorporate a lot more cardio into your training. So during the time of my transformation, I did around 3 sessions of cardio a week. The forms of cardio that I found best for me because of my injury were low impact things. So I used a cross trainer a lot, or I did all my cardio in the swimming pool, swimming. I did my cardio 3 times a week, as I said, Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and probably around 20 minutes for the dry stuff and about an hour's cardio for the wet stuff in the pool. I'll train in high intensity burst training, so I might do 30 seconds on high intensity, 30 seconds off, 30 seconds 10 out of 10 effort, 30 seconds off, 30 seconds 10 out of 10 effort, and if I'm getting tired, a minute off. And basically again, you're tricking your body into like raising that metabolic rate. You're upping your heart rate drastically, and it's going to increase metabolism and burn extra fat. I'll go into more detail on these things in other videos. Like, give me a shout what you want to hear more on. If you have any questions to ask me, just pop them in the comments below. I'll continue this little series on how I got from A to B and keep it going. I'll incorporate more stuff into it, like training as well as nutrition and kind of what I eat, but that was just kind of an introduction to how I did my transformation. So I hope it helps some of you guys out, and I shall see you guys later. Alright, bye.